Welcome back to our channel. We are BitcoinMagazine.nl and we're live today from Crypto Congress 2025. You know something? We are in the heart of Amsterdam where money moves. And if money is moving, cryptos is at the center of it. And if cryptos is at the center of it, Michael van der Poppe. That's the man that pretty much pushes crypto forward right here in the Netherlands. And we've sat down before many times.
Yes.
Every time we sit down, he educates us. He tells us what's happening, what has happened, what's going to happen. So we're gonna do that again. So you know what to do. Share this video, like this video, keep watching, and make sure that you keep helping us promote crypto and push it forward. Vriend van mij, hoe gaat het?
Beetje moe.
Okay.
Wij zijn...
And that's all we're gonna do in Dutch.
Ik was al verrast.
Yeah, you know, you were like, okay, this is going to
Ik
be
dacht
no.
Engels.
Nope, we're gonna do English. We're in the Netherlands, but Michael van der Poppe is a serious voice when it comes to an opinion on crypto right here in the Netherlands. Your content is in English, so we're gonna do this in English. But at the end of the day, as in KOL, you are known to predict the market.
Yeah.
So my first question is going to be, before we go into everything you've done today, the market right now is so volatile, going up, down, sideways, backwards, forwards. You go from 0 to 20 million loss in a few hours, and then you go from 140 to 90 overnight. How do you maintain a level of credibility? Because you're trying to stand up here and tell me this is what the market's gonna do, and it's a crazy market. How do you maintain your credibility in such a volatile market?
Ooh. I think if you look at the comments on my posts, then people are quite angry. But that is because the sentiment is so bad. I mean, I've been to New York in the past week to SmartCon, which is one of the biggest conferences in the heart of the US, in New York City. All the institutions are building right now on chain, all of them. I think it was one of the best conferences I've been to ever. But there is such a big disconnect between what they are doing and what the price and the sentiment is. And I think it hasn't been as big as it is right now. So in that sense, if we talk about where we're going with the markets, I truly believe what I'm saying. I have the altcoin portfolio. I keep continuing with it. So I try to be as transparent as possible, and it's up to the rest to decide whether or not they are going to follow.
Okay. Now, for those who are following you, what can we expect for the next 8 weeks of 2025?
Well, I mean, the government shutdown has led to illiquid markets. So you mentioned volatile.
Yeah.
The past weeks have been extremely volatile. That stays until the government shutdown is over.
Okay.
And once the government shutdown is over, we are also ending QT on the 1st of December.
Yeah.
We're likely going to get another rate cut. So in that sense, and I think we see the first few steps, we are likely going to get back to the normal fair price of all those assets, which means that in the coming 8 weeks, we probably are going to see that the 4-year cycle doesn't exist anymore, and that we are actually going to be trending upwards, and that it's more of a risk on appetite.
Okay. Now, this is my challenge. As you know, we sit down here with many people throughout the day. One person says, hey, bearish market is on the way. Another person says, hey, up cycle is finishing, no more 4-year cycle. And another person says, hey, this is going to be the bullish 8 weeks, and we are going to reach 160 in the next 12 weeks. And that's not even exaggerating. That's what happened today, right here in all the interviews. So as an interviewer, I start asking myself, okay, who should I believe? Who should I follow? From your perspective, how do you explain so much difference between the same people at a Congress and all of you being experts?
I mean, ultimately, everybody is saying what their bias is, and you try to create a bias that is as open as possible. So, if someone is saying the 4-year cycle is over, I would like to see arguments why people are saying that it's over. And when they purely say, yeah, it's based because of 4 years ago we had an all-time high, so now we should be having it too, you're just taking, you're not taking the macroeconomic changes in account. So just look at data and then prove to me why the data is completely different than what you are saying. And I think for everyone that is looking at the markets at this point, again, there's a big disconnect, but there's also a big difference between the opinions. And that's why I say the coming period is going to be proving that we are in a completely different cycle, because the 4 year cycle has never existed. It is
Very
just
good.
luckily that the liquidity or macroeconomic cycle was exactly in the same window.
Not only that, just to add what you just said, we didn't have Trump 4 years ago. We didn't
True.
have a shutdown 4 years ago. We weren't in the middle of a China US war.
Powell.
Powell, exactly. So we didn't have this 4 years ago. So let's just forward up. 2026, we are having an upcycle. We're heading in the right direction. You, as a trader, a fund investor,
Mhm.
what is your first step for 2026?
Um, to be fair, we have two different funds. So
Mhm.
the venture arm continues to deploy.
Mhm.
We believe that there's still going to be a bull cycle. If I can reference Sergey Nazarov, the founder of Chainlink,
Yeah.
he said that we are in 1997 of the crypto bubble. So
Okay.
2000 was the peak for the
Yeah,
dot-com bubble,
exactly.
and the big adoption took place the
Yeah.
years before. That is what we are seeing right now with crypto and all the stable coins and everything with the institutions. For the fund, so the liquid fund, I think we keep on being very active in the market. So we keep on trading OTC, we keep on trading the volatility. It's actually a good environment. And if the markets are going to go up, we keep on trading it. As the more volatile it is, the better it is for us.
There we
So
go.
in general, I think 2026 is going to be a big surprise. And I think that it's going to be a very bullish year as well.
So for the first quarter, I would like to step in to your fund. Let's say 150K, 200K deposited into your fund.
Yeah.
What return am I expecting? Talk to me
We-
about the numbers.
In general, we try to outperform Bitcoin. So right now we are live for 4.5 months. We are outperforming Bitcoin by, I think it was 10%.
Okay.
Especially October and November combined, we are plus 3%, while Bitcoin has gone down by 10%. So
Okay.
that's our target, which equals between 60 to 80% on a yearly basis.
Okay. So you have funds out there promoting 35 to 40% return on funds investment
Yeah.
quarter to quarter. Would you say that makes sense in the market that we're dealing with right now?
No.
Okay.
I mean, in order to get that, you need to look at the risk.
yeah.
So if a fund is saying, I'm going to make 40% quarter on quarter,
Mm.
if you calculate that, it's like 250, 300% on a year.
Compound it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People forget that that requires a lot of risk. So if a fund is showing a minus 20% in a month, that provides data that the Sharpe ratio, the risk is extremely high. And what we would like to achieve is that it's a consistent flow. I'd rather want to have like between 3 to 8% on a monthly basis and base my strategy on risk.
Yeah.
The reward will come.
Yeah.
But if you focus on the reward alone, you don't consider the risk. And if there's an outlier like the October the 10th or the past days,
Yeah.
you get screwed. So I think that's something people should realize.
Okay. Now, if you think about it, we're in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, this is our home. This is where we're working with. I've asked this many people today. A parliament member tried to actually say, "Hey, we need a national bank reserve. Hey, Bitcoin, we need a reserve." He was shut down. The vote didn't go in his favor. Everybody said no. You, as a fund manager in the Netherlands, do you see that as a future wall that prevents you from growing at some point? Or do you say, hey, no problem, stay out of it, we'll keep doing our thing on our side?
Look, I think it's two different things. I mean, for us as a fund, I don't really care. I just trade the markets,
Exactly.
and we make a return. That's it. Fundamentally, I think it's game theory. It's the same as with institutions. We are in a phase right now that if you don't do something with crypto, you will fall behind. And after the institutions are joining, the next step is going to be governments. So the governments that are currently deploying capital into crypto or are working on it, improving the systems for themselves, those are going to be the winners. And it's just a snowball. The more and more you will see it, like the US is doing it right now,
Yeah.
more and more countries will start to do it as well. So in case of the Netherlands, perhaps it's not right now, but perhaps in 2 years with new elections, and if there is ever going to be a
You heard this first here. Mikhail van der Papa said you're going to last 2 years.
prediction market has
Prediction
started.
market. 2 years.
No, but I mean, it's gonna happen,
Oh, yeah.
and that's Bitcoin has been proving every time that it's growing and growing. As long as it's continuing to grow, governments will step in.
And what do you think of ABN AMRO and ING and Deutsche Bank coming together to work on the euro stablecoin? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's more or less the CNBC, right?
Yeah.
CBDC, sorry.
CBC.
Um, it's all depending on what the variables and the metrics of the stablecoin will be. If it
Okay.
is going to be the exact same as what we have right now and control is with the government, I'm against it. If it is fully decentralized and all those things, it can be great. But why would the banks create one when we have so many stablecoins out there already?
Okay.
And that's what you see with most countries, that they are using stablecoins that actually exist. For instance, the Central Bank of Brazil are communicating with the Central Bank of Hong Kong through the Chainlink CRE, which is a new form of Java, like an ecosystem. So they are in the category of like, we are using commercial companies to deploy a framework that we need to use to be on chain.
Okay.
So I'd rather want to see that instead of banks trying to be better than Web3 ecosystem companies.
Makes no sense. Now, your target, your doelgroep, it's a Dutch word, your doelgroep online is what? What age do you reach?
Becomes older.
Yeah?
I start to get gray hair, so they become
Yeah.
older.
Okay.
No, I mean the demographics are like between 25 to 55, primarily men.
Okay. Now,
Um,
from that perspective, you have the 40 plusers who are still using traditional finance, but the 30 and below are on Bunk and are on Revolut. Revolut just received a micro license. So, how do you reach these people who can swipe left and buy Bitcoin and swipe right and buy traditional finance in their app on their phone?
I mean, keep on making content. Ultimately, the weird stuff is that people will come in once price starts to move and not the other way around.
Yeah.
At this point, the altcoins or like most of the crypto companies are so undervalued and they don't want to buy the asset. And when Bitcoin starts to break the asset, they will all start to pop in. So it's kind of like that's how market dynamics are. And our role as a KOL is to provide content that is valuable and makes it easier for them to make the right decisions or at least get educated.
Okay. I sat down with a few different people today, like Paul from Paul's Penthouse, and he had an actual panel today, and he said that a lot of people online are talking and talking and talking, trying to force you into things, and you have to be careful with that. Now, how do you set yourself apart from all those other actual KOLs who are shilling and pushing different pre-sales and different sales of how do you say, hey, I'm not gonna go down that road because obviously that road makes a lot of money. How do I remain true to what crypto is? How do you remain steady in this market?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's not my role to push people into a certain direction. It's up to them to decide what they want. But in terms of, I show what I do. So I'm showing the altcoin portfolio. I base that on a decision that I thought the 4-year cycle was not going to exist, but still invested like it would exist.
Yeah.
So I'm down like 60%, but I keep making the content to prove how difficult it is to run a portfolio in the way that it used to be. So I think that's the essential part, is to try to be as transparent as possible. And the longer you keep doing that, the more people will start to come in my opinion.
And at the base, what you just said, being down 60%,
It's not fun.
how does it affect you?
Well, the lucky part is that we have all the other companies and they are doing great. But it's not great. I mean, ultimately, we need crypto to grow. We need the assets to go up because that fuels the entire growth cycle. I'd rather want to see a 200% return on my altcoin portfolio because it benefits the rest of the companies.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it will. And at this point in time, it's just a constant grind. And we keep on doing in what we believe is the right direction. And we'll see what the future brings.
At some point, might we come to a point where we see that Michael van der Poppe says, enough, I'm done with this, pull out this money, shut it down?
At this point, I haven't been thinking about it. So, I mean, at some point, if the markets are going to go up, we have a great return. We get to that point because how long do you want to go with it? In terms of the downside, If my fundamental thesis shifts, then yes, but I don't see any sort of metrics why we should.
There you go. So push forward, no
Keep
matter
going,
what.
keep going, stay patient.
There
If
you
you
go.
want to have a massive return or a great return, you need to be different than the rest because the general return is between 10 to 50% on a year.
Yeah.
If you want to have a 10x, you need to be at 0.01% of all the people.
Yeah.
And then the difficult part is to keep having your portfolio in times that are difficult.
Very good. Now you were here on stage. What was your panel about?
Investing in crypto, is it hype or reality? Something like that.
Okay.
I had a panel and a masterclass today, so
Very simply put, is it hype or is it reality?
it's a combination.
Okay.
So most of the things are hype based. Right now, privacy coins are taking off.
Yeah.
I think a few weeks ago we had prediction markets doing great.
Yeah.
Before that, AI agents.
Yeah.
So like, there is a constant reality of growth, which is in the stable coins and the institutions. And on top of that, you have hype cycles of narratives that are doing great. Probably there will be like tons of it in the next few years, but it's a combination of the two.
Very good. You know something? Today, one of the first panels today, they had kind of like a game where people had to choose between what's more important for crypto, liquidity or sentiment. There was about 100 people in this audience. They all chose, and everybody chose liquidity. Not everybody. Liquidity won. Let's put it like that. From your perspective, what's more important, liquidity or sentiment?
Liquidity.
Okay. Why do you think that?
Sentiment moves along.
Oh,
So liquidity is required to move markets, and the markets are illiquid at this point. If you take an altcoin as an example, if there are like 1 million tokens, probably if you bought it a year ago, you're still holding it, which means that the circulating supply of the asset on the market is substantially low, which then means, if that is the case, if you have like 10% of the total supply being traded, if someone that is holding for such a long period of time decides to sell the position, it will have a big impact on the market. But if there is an institution coming in, buying the asset or using the asset,
Yeah.
it will have the same impact upwards.
okay.
And then if that happens, that's when sentiment starts to flip, and that's when we all are going to be happy. Same concept applies on Bitcoin. Bitcoin, if it didn't have the ETF, it would be around 40K right now.
okay.
But just primarily due to the liquidity being pushed into the Bitcoin ETF, and then they bought spot Bitcoin, has driven the price to 100K plus.
That's wonderful. Now, last question. If I told you, hey, one macroeconomic factor that will affect Bitcoin dramatically in the next 6 months, what will it be?
The change of the Fed chairman.
Okay.
I think.
Why?
Well, Powell is very hawkish and conservative, and I think somewhere in the next months around the midterms, there's going to be a new Fed chairman,
Oh, yeah.
and Trump is really pushing forward to have a pro-Bitcoiner there and a
100%.
pro-QE one.
Yep.
So that's going to give a big impulse in the markets, and I think the markets are going to direct to it in the coming period already.
Wonderful. So you heard it here. There are going to be extreme changes coming up. He might be down, but he said something very interesting. Patience. That's a word that you don't hear a lot when it comes to the crypto market. You have to be patient. And hear it now from someone like Michael van der Poppe that, hey, he's been doing it for so long, stresses the importance of it. You've been watching us all day. We were live right here from Crypto Congress 2025. Thank you for watching us. Share this video, and we will keep bringing you key opinion leaders, people who actually push the market forward and matter. Always a pleasure, my friends.
Thank you very much.
We'll see each other soon.